Thursday night where we're supposed to be for once. Very nice. Hey, I hope all you guys are having a great week out there, doing whatever you do in the world, wherever you do it. Hey, fish is starting to get a little better. We're starting to get some big fish showing up. Pretty much every day right now we're getting a shot at one or two big ones. And that's only going to increase. It's going to keep coming. Lake Fork is set up in phenomenal fashion right now. If you guys are thinking about getting a Lake Fork, you need to hurry up and do it because it is going to be a good fall. There is so much good grass in the lake this year. Good water clarity, good water level. It stayed pretty high. It's down a little over half a foot right now, but it's going to be a great fall. The bait is really starting to stack up. The bait kind of made started making another little bit of a migration, kind of watched them migrate through a creek a little bit today. As the day progressed, today was a little bit of a tough day numbers-wise, just because things were moving. There was a lot of fish moving, a lot of bait moving, and it kind of put everything in a bit of a stalemate for the day. But hey, that's all right because it's coming. We managed to get a few good ones today, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I'm excited, man. It's my favorite time of the year for sure. I love October. The weather starts feeling good. There's football on the TV, and the fish starting to bite, and some of the hunters are starting to leave the lake. So I'm a happy man come October every year. So hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. Appreciate y'all following along and watching as always. First couple comments coming in. Mojo says he's finally going to get to watch one of these. Your boy. Ryan Johnson, what up? Real Fish 365, what is going down? Appreciate you guys tuning in and commenting. Hey, if you have questions, let's go ahead and start popping the questions in there. And then let's go ahead and get down on some top 5 baits for this week. Top 5 baits is going to be some familiar guys in there. We got a couple new guys in there. So top 5 baits, we are going to go with number 1, day in, day out, what gets the most consistent bites is still the wacky worm. Wacky stick bait's been the best. We are catching some on wacky trick worm, but the wacky worm day in, day out's everything right now. I think it's going to stay that way for about another 5 or 6 days. This next cold front that's coming through should really start the fall migration, should really start the fish. You should stack more fish into those shallow areas. It should really get those fish fired up and chasing bait because more bait should come in there as well. So I anticipate that following down my priority list here very soon. But, so wacky worm, first one on top of, sorry, I get so distracted when I do these. I got to get better. I end up looking right over here. You guys can't see. I end up looking right over there trying to read stuff while I'm trying to talk to you. And I can't walk and chew gum, so I lose focus. But wacky worm, another thing that's catching a lot of fish is a Texas rig, baby brush hog, 1/4 ounce Texas rig. All my plastics, the best colors have been watermelon red here lately. And then the other baits that we're throwing is the 1/4 ounce chrome, gold chrome, shad pattern, 1/4 ounce traps, lipless crankbaits are still catching a lot of fish right now. They're my best day in, day out moving bait. But we're getting some swim jig bites. Hey, we caught a couple big ones on the swim jig. And we're getting a few frog bites. So top 5 baits is going to be wacky worm, wacky stick bait, Texas rig baby brush hog, 1/4 ounce shad pattern rattle trap, white swim jig, and old yellow belly, my frog dog. Magnolia, Texas for Bobby Spang. What's going on, Magnolia? J Laugh in the house. My boy. J Laugh says H2O Express bibs at Academy. Watermelon red. Somebody asking what color worm. Watermelon red has been the best color on my. I have been throwing a little bit some 8-inch worms too. You guys saw the video. We're starting to catch fish on those 8-inch worms, and I'm actually throwing that red shad color a lot on that 8-inch worm. That red shad color gets a lot of bites. Somebody says looking to buy new bibs. Where is the best place to go? It depends on how much money you're wanting to spend. If you're wanting bang for your buck value, the H2O Express bibs are very good. They are going to tear up after enough time. Like if you give them a lot of time, like if you keep those bibs for a couple of years and you wear them a lot, those bibs are not going to last. Now, my rod sponsor, Limit Fishing, Limit Rods, they are actually coming out with some bibs in the next month that you will be able to buy at the Lake Fork Tackle Store, as well as limitfishing.com. You can check them out there as well. But they're going to have bibs. They're going to be just like the Simms gear, but very affordable. Like, they're not going to be cheap because they're nice bibs, but I want to say they're like $250 per piece or something like that. They're less than half the cost of the Simms gear, and it's the same thing. They are top end, top tier, as good as you get foul weather gear, and less than half of the price of what the Simms gear goes for. So you might want to check out, if you want some really nice stuff that'll last forever and be really good product, you might want to check out Limit Fishing's bibs that they got coming out here in the next month. Yeah, Hook makes some good bibs too. What up, Nick? Nick Cavazos, what up? Was Hubbard really as bad as it seemed on your vids? My home leg, I know it can be tough at times. It was not bad. Hubbard was not bad. I was bad. And to that credit to my partner for the day, Simpson Rushing, we were bad. We set the hook even more than what I could possibly show in that video. We would set the hook, have the fish on for a second, it would come off. Or we'd break off. Or we'd just set the hook and not get anything. It was a nightmare of a day. We probably got 14 or 15 bites, and I think we put like 7 or 8 fish in the boat. It was terrible. And of course, the big ones that we lost were, the ones we lost were big ones. For the record, though, that guy Simpson Rushing, 2 days after that, they had a pretty big bass tournament. It's a pretty big tournament out there, and it was a big bass deal on Hubbard, and he won it on those same spots. So those fish were in there. We should have caught them. We were doing the right things. Execution was really, really poor that day. And, guys, that happens. That happens to me. It happens to Kevin Van Dam. It happens to everybody in the world. I can't believe I just compared myself to Kevin Van Dam. I should be ashamed of myself for that. But it happens to everybody, and that's the beauty of this channel. I film 1 day a week, and you guys see exactly how it goes down. There is no punches pulled. You see the truth. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you see it. Are the Aggies, this is a great question. Are the Aggies going to beat Bama this weekend? The answer to that is hell yes, of course. What are you thinking asking me? Aggies are going to stomp all over Bama. They think Johnny Manziel was bad. Wait till whoever's playing quarterback for A&M now gets to him. I don't even know who plays quarterback because I'm always guiding on Saturdays. I haven't seen a single Aggies game all year. But guess what? The Aggies are going to beat Bama. I have all the faith in the world. Somebody says they stopped by LFT hoping to meet me, but I wasn't there. Man, I'm sorry I missed you, bro. I'm up there a lot. I was up there today for a little while. I'm going to be up there tomorrow night. By the way, guys, we got a free seminar tomorrow night, 6 p.m. So if you're in the area, please stop by. Come say hello. Love to meet you guys. And we'll go over a couple little detailed classes on some different bass fishing techniques tomorrow night at Lake Fork Trophy Lure Store. 6 p.m. No, let's see. He asked, going tomorrow with his dad, do you think going first thing to get the morning bite is imperative? No, absolutely not. In fact, most days I'm catching fish better right in the middle of the day. Anywhere from 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. That time period has actually been the best time period here lately most days. Now today, the morning bite was definitely better. It really slowed down. The more those fish started to migrate, I mean, you could literally see the birds working the bait schools, and you could see the bait shifting in the creeks today. And the more that happened, the longer in the day we went, the more that bait left, the more that those bass started moving, and the harder it got downright tough this afternoon. So today, the morning bite was better. Tomorrow, who knows, right? It's fall. It changes every day. It moves. The fish move all the time. You never know when. But lately, though, it's kind of random. A lot of times, the middle of the day has been best. Do I know anything on Ray Roberts? Never fished it before. Heard it has big fish, though. Just wondering for the next high school tournament. Ray Roberts has big bass. That is true. I do not know anything about Ray Roberts, but I've heard you guys requesting for me to go fish Ray Roberts. I am going to go fish it, but it will not be until November, I believe, is when I've got it set up. Ray Roberts is another one that you have to be careful navigating on because of standing timber everywhere. And I actually got in touch with a guy that I know through a friend, and we're going to go, and we're going to go in his boat. He's going to drive because he has the trails to run around on Roberts. So that will be coming up next month sometime, video from Ray Roberts. And they say they got a tournament coming up, high school tournament. Well, hey, man, I'm sorry. I don't know if my video will be in time to help you for the tournament or not, but I apologize. I'm getting there as soon as I can, but that's as soon as I can do it. Three rods going to Ray Roberts, what should you have? Well, knowing the little tiny bit that I don't know anything about Ray Roberts. I have no knowledge. But if I was going there blind to fish, knowing the time of year it is, I would have, what would I have? Popped it on me all of a sudden. I would probably have not a lot of grass in Roberts, I don't think. Knowing that, I would want to have 3 rods. That makes it even tougher. So I'd go with a lipless bait, lipless crankbait. I would go with a medium diving crankbait, and I would go with something to flip, like a little 3/8 ounce jig, something nice, compact, maybe a Texas Rig Baby Brush Off that we're talking about today. I would go with probably a 3/8 ounce jig and a small profile, trim it down, make it real compact, medium diving crankbait, like a 10-footer, and a lipless crankbait. That would allow me to cover a lot of different depth zones with those 2 hard baits, and when I needed to, I could slow down with that jig. That is probably how I would go about it, knowing nothing about Ray Roberts. I have no knowledge. So. Any news on the LFT Fluoro, when it might hit the store? Sure, don't know. We don't know. I expect it by the end of the year, but it's really hard to say because there is a lot of moving parts. It comes from overseas. It's manufactured in France, so we don't know when that is going to come about. As soon as I know something, you guys will know, because I tested, or I got to put my hands on and mess around with some samples of it back in the early summer, and that stuff is awesome. They got some stuff coming that's gonna be great, but I don't know when exactly it's gonna be here. Hey, appreciate that, Joe. Big Joe Lahue, appreciate it. All right, man, y'all pop some questions in. We're running. I done caught up to the questions, so drop them in there. Let me know what's going on. It's a Thursday night. Who's watching football tonight? Is there anybody out there watching football? I'm probably not watching football because I got a lot of work to do, like always. The work never stops when you're fishing for a living, believe it or not. That's about it, guys. Fall, like I said, man, fall's going to be good. We got this next front coming. Hopefully it's going to drop some water temps significantly, and when it does, it should cue them in for them to really stack up around those grass edges in that shallow water and really go to chasing. Best swim bait rod for big baits. All right, that's a good question. I like that question. Speaking of big swim baits, that time is coming. I will actually, while I have my customers catching fish, I will be throwing some big swim baits, trying to find that bite probably as soon as a week from today. That will be when I really start throwing a lot of the big baits. And there's 2 categories. There's your soft plastic and your hard baits. So my 2 best baits going forward will be Smash Tech Convict will be my #1 soft plastic bait, and the 6 Sense Flow Glider will be my glide bait of choice to find that bite. Now, once I find that bite and I want to key in on a trophy class fish, I will throw that HPH Gliding Gizzard for my glide bait if I really want to try and target a trophy. But that Flow Glider will be kind of my search bait when I first start doing that. So those are the 2 I'm going to key on. There's also, I don't know if it's going to get made yet or not, but I might get a chance to test a brand new swim bait that's going to be a little bit different than anything else out there. So I might get a chance to test a brand new big profile swim bait, and I will be the first and only one to test it this fall. And man, am I looking forward to that. Oh, wow. One go-to spot on Lake Conroe for right now? God, that'd be tough. I haven't fished it in so long, Bobby. That would be, man, you know, it's been so long since I've been there, and the lake could have changed so much. It's been years and years. I mean, I was a teenager last time I fished it. I would probably want to go to the north end, the Stumpy end, and look for whatever grass, you know, the Lake Stubblefield type area would be one. But you know, my go-to spot is the same as everybody else's. I can't remember the name of the creek, but you know, the one that's got the big hotel resort in it, like the second creek up from the dam on the left-hand side, big creek there. Right at the mouth of that creek, there's a little cove to your left. It's just a round bay type cove. It's full of docks. Well, in that cove, there's kind of a rim in the back portion of that cove. There's like a flat that runs around it, and there's a ledge that goes all the way around. It's like a little rim going around the back of that cove. All along that ledge, there is brush pile, brush pile, brush pile, brush pile. I love that cove, and I love those brush piles. I've caught many, many, many fish out of those brush piles over the years. That's one of my favorite spots, 365 days a year on Conroe. But like I said, it's been 15 years since I fished Conroe, so. Oh, somebody was asking, okay, you asked what my favorite rod was for big swim baits. So, my favorite rod for big swim baits. So I have two of them that I use. My rod that I use for big swim baits, for my big soft baits and for my really heavy glide baits like the HPH, I use a 711 Extra Heavy Limit 5 Series. That rod will handle it, man. It will take that convict and whip it around like a spinnerbait, and yet it's a very light rod. I really like that 711 Extra Heavy for my big soft baits and for my big heavy glide baits. Now on that flow glider, I step down to the 711 Medium Heavy on that little bit lighter glide bait. It's heavy, it weighs almost 2 ounces, but I like to have a little bit of tip for those treble hooks, and I like to have a little bit of tip for the action that you're putting on that glide bait when it's cutting in and out. So I use both of the 711 711 Extra Heavy and 711 Medium Heavy from the Limit 5 Series. Those are my two swim bait rods that I use for my two different types of swim baits. Somebody says, let's see here. I'll miss some stuff up here. Trying to track back. How long you think until the frog bite dies? Man, a long time. It'll be, depending on the day, depending on the weather and the conditions, you'll be able to catch fish on frogs until December. And even then, I mean, you get the right warming trends in cold water, you catch fish on frog in cold water too. So the real, like, consistent frog bite is probably fixing to really get going, and that'll probably last until, you know, first week of December or so. Just depending on weather, that's typically when it goes to. Oh, customer from today, old buddy Smith says today was awesome, man. Today was awesome. Really enjoyed you and your dad. I appreciate you guys coming out. It was a blast. You guys were awesome customers. Thank y'all. First time boat owner, and this is the 4th time I'm taking it out. What is a depth that is usually okay to zip across the lake and not have to worry about unseen timber? Okay, this is a serious question. You're asking me what depth are you safe from timber at? If you're referring to Lake Fork, the answer is there isn't one. There's some of those trees in 50 foot of water that touch the top in some areas. If you're going on Lake Fork, you stay in those boat lanes unless you know better, period, end of story. And that's almost every lake in East Texas is that way. So there's some lakes that are wide open. I would try to ask a source. If you can tell me what lake you're talking about specifically, I can help you better. But if it's Lake Fork, you stay in the boat lanes unless you know. That's it. John Kennedy, going to Ray Roberts. I do not know Ray Roberts. I cannot attest to what depth is safe. If I was going to Ray Roberts, I would call somebody, ask somebody that knows the lake a little better. I would ask this question. I would get on some Facebook fishing groups. There's different groups on Facebook. East Texas Fishing, Fish in Texas, Fish on Texas, all different kinds of fishing groups on Facebook, and I would pose this question in there, and I just about guarantee you somebody that knows a lot more about Ray Roberts than me can help you out. Okay, Fishing in the City says Ray Roberts is pretty wide open until you get back in the coves. So in that case, I would just use my common sense. I would stay right out in the middle of the main lake, and anytime I had to leave that, I would slow down and really idle. That's what you need to do. No bites on swim baits down in eastern North Carolina. Only drop shot with wacky rigs or Texas rig rage bugs. Any other suggestion? Cranks ain't working either. All right. North Carolina is going to be a little bit cooler, not much. It's going to be basically the same weather pattern. And the only thing you're catching them on is wacky and drop shot. So you're probably in that in-between phase that we're in, where it's tough to catch them. If lipless cranks aren't working, lipless cranks are usually kind of the exception. They work when it's tough, which is kind of what we've been, where it's been kind of in between. It's been tough bite. If the lipless crank is not working, no swim bait bite is working, then they're forcing you to slow down. Hey, you got to listen to the fish, right? Wacky rig, drop shot, that's working. So slow down. Maybe what you can do is, while you're slowing down, get you a jig. If you want to try and get a bigger fish, get away from some of them wacky fish, some drop shot fish, get you a jig and slow down with that jig, because you can go slow with that jig and still target a bigger fish. So I would try that. That's where I would go next. Yeah, somebody says that Ray Roberts, the north end, is full of timber too. So whoever was asking about Ray Roberts and running, I guess maybe just the main lake on the southern part of the lake, and then once you get to the north end, be cautious. I mean, just play it safe. You know, if you don't know, if you're not sure, be cautious, because I promise an hour of idling is way more easier to swallow than the bill that comes from hitting one of them trees. Impossible injury, really. All right, I think we've caught up on questions. All caught up. Hey guys, talked to my shirt guys today. There was a little delay. Yep, hard to do slow after summer. That's right. But hey, it is hard to slow down after you've been catching them in the summer on moving baits and reactive baits. But when they're in that kind of limbo phase in between summer and fall, you do sometimes have to go really slow. And if that's what the fish are telling you to do, then by God, that's what you got to do. I mean, you just got to listen to them fish. That's part of it. If there was no bass in Texas, what species would you target? I would be on the coast going for reds. I love me some red fishing. Don't get to do it. Hadn't done it in a lot of years. But I love me some red fishing. How many boats will be at the Berkeley Big Bass Best Guess? If I remember correctly, the Berkeley draws around 1,800 entries, which equates to about 1,000 boats. That's our next big bass tournament we got coming up here in a few weeks. October 21st, I think, something like that. West Tennessee, top 5 bait. West Tennessee, top 5 bait. Man, I have no idea what's going on in West Tennessee. I don't even know what lakes are in West Tennessee. I guess Kentucky Lake, I think, is in West Tennessee. I don't know. Headed to Monticello for a week, October 16th. Any tips on what to throw? First, wave when you see me, because I'm going to be taking some trips to Monticello as we get further on in the fall. Man, that's going to be a good time of year. Bring your swim baits, brother. They should start to buy swim baits What you're going to want there on Monticello in the middle of October and late October is going to be a frog, swim bait, a punching rig, and some weightless plastics. Or if it happens to be tough, you're going to want weightless plastics. But that should cover you on Monticello for that time period. You're going to be fishing lily pads that are kind of starting to die off and spread out, so it's going to be a lot of grass-filled flat areas with some holes in the vegetation. So those weedless swim baits are going to come into play. That's where those punching rigs come into play. You flip the mats that still exist. And then, of course, frogs come into play anytime you're around vegetation. And then weightless plastics are good in those grass holes if it's a tough day. What color jigs? In the fall, I go with a green and brown to a green and orange jig all the time. All the time. And then that's it. Green and brown. No matter where you are in the country, that color works. Green and brown, green and orange, y'all get the picture. Doing the limbo. We call it the two-step down here in Texas. They're in between fall and summer, and they move up, and then they move out, and they move up, and they move out. And it's just back and forth, old two-step. Man, I'm sorry about the West Tennessee question. I just don't even know what water you're fishing or nothing, buddy. I apologize. Lane Seaman says, sorry, he was out fishing and just saw. Stop fishing to watch the live stream. That is what I'm talking about. Now, that is a full-on bass head that is dedicated to the Your Lake Fort Guide community, and I really appreciate that. Why does green and brown work so well versus other color combos? Green and brown is just one that I have 100% confidence they will bite every time. This time of year. Now, I'll go to black and blue when I get to the winter. When I get to like second half of December is when I change over to black and blue. So basically December 15th on, I go to black and blue throughout the winter, January, February. Green and brown, number one, green and brown looks like a brim. Around here, it looks like a person. In most places in the country, it looks like a panfish of some kind, a brim of some kind. Green and brown looks like most crawfish. Most crawfish across our country in East, and especially here in East Texas, this time of year are a dark green pumpkin and a brown color. So it looks like their main two sources of prey that you're imitating, it's the right color to match those. Plus, it looks good in clear water. It's a natural color, so it works in clear water. It's a darker type color profile, so it shows up in dirty water. It mimics stuff that's around grass. It mimics stuff that's out deep. It looks like a little bit of everything. It's just a very good universal color to match many different hatches and to work and show up well in many different water conditions. So green and brown, green and orange, man, it's a hammer. What kind of trailers do I run on those jigs? I have one that I like this time of year in the fall. It's called a Berkley Havoc Pit Boss, and I trim the body way down and just make it a little chunk type trailer with those four little flippers flipping out there. I like a Pit Boss a lot in the fall of the year. I always like a Rage Crawl on a jig. I think that's the best overall jig trailer throughout the year, but in the fall I go to that one. It's got those little straight arms on it. It's a little bit more finessey. When they're a little bit more picky in the fall, I like to throw that jig there. What jigs do I recommend for a sandy bottom? Hey, I'm going to tell you guys, when I'm flipping jigs now, that 6-inch hybrid jig does it all. Like, that's my jig. Like, I have swim jigs that I use specifically for swim jigs, but as far as flipping, dragging, hopping, brush, grass, whatever, the 6-inch hybrid jig is doing all of it for me now. So sandy bottom, whatever, that's what it is. Do I ever night fish? I am not a big night fisherman. I don't like night fishing. I don't like not being able to see what's going on around me. For whatever reason, not that I went through that bad of an experience in the Marine Corps on my deployments or anything, but I'm a paranoid guy. I'm very aware of my surroundings at all times. I can tell you what noises are going on outside of my garage right now. I know what's happening. I don't like being on the lake at night because I can't really see what's going on around me. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, and it just makes me nervous. I don't feel comfortable. Two, down here in Texas, the bugs at night, they don't make bug spray good enough, bro. They just don't. So unless it's real windy and you're fishing open water, you're going to get just eaten alive by the bugs at night. I'm not a big fan of night fishing. I know there's a lot of people that catch a lot of big fish, but fortunately I live in Texas and we catch big fish during the daytime too, so I just don't do a lot of it. Well, hey, that's it, guys. We've answered all the questions. I think we've covered a lot of topics tonight. Good live stream, good questions. Thank y'all so much. Hey, the shirts are coming. I've still got a couple more weeks. We ran into a little bit of a snag on those, but and that was on their end. But they're gonna get here about 2 weeks from now. Can't wait to show you guys these shirts. They look. I'm in love with the way they look. So we'll have those up soon. And trying to think anything else we need to go over. I guess that's it. Tune in tomorrow night. If you can't be at Lake Fork Tackle, tune in to the seminar. It starts at 6 p.m. We'll have the live stream up and running. We'll do our best. Wi-Fi, East Texas Wi-Fi dependent. We will have the live stream up and running tomorrow night from the live seminar at Lake Fork Trophy Lure Store in Emory, Texas. And if you can be there, I will see you at 6 p.m. And I appreciate each and every one of you participating in this community, helping us share fishing information, help each other catch more fish, and loving our fellow man, because that is what we do around here. Other than that, I will see you guys next time right here, your Lake Fork Guy.